Thank you for coming to this. Talk about HealthSeekers today. If you are here for Ollie Patrick, then this is going to be better. A couple of you have seen him before. He's next door. He is amazing, but we're talking about quite similar things, which I did say, is that a good idea? But this is being recorded. There will also be a version of this on YouTube. I tried to get it recorded yesterday. I will get it recorded probably Monday. So if you want to take this back and get any of your friends, colleagues to watch what I'm going through, there'll be a slightly shorter version on that. And yes, I've started 5 minutes late. I will probably also finish 5 minutes early because the lunch at this conference is really good. And we want to get first in the queue for that. So unless you've got loads of questions, which I'll also take. But, so yeah, half an hour or so. I do want to get feedback and interaction as well. But in terms of it, like super quick intro, not touch the mic, sorry. I'm Guy Griffiths. My business is GG Fit, and I founded GG Fit in 2008. My purpose, my aim, my goal is I want to help more people get fitter and healthier. Okay, and I do that by not working with the people. I work with clubs, so I work with all sorts of health clubs, a lot of leisure trusts and councils, local authorities, independent gyms as well. Love working with independents because normally they decide to do something and then we start the next day, whereas a leisure trust takes 12 months to send a PO. But listen, it's all good. It's all mixed. I've worked with a few budget chains as well, but my main bag is helping people to get fitter and healthier by working with health and fitness clubs. I talk a lot about retention. I've talked about retention at this conference for the last 7-8 years. I gave a big retention talk back in 2019, if you remember that. That was the first independent gyms conference before all that stuff. And I'm talking tomorrow about retention. Same time, different place. So main stage tomorrow, if you want to hear me bang on about 7 retention tips that you can start using tomorrow. But today, honestly, this is much more my passion project and where I see the future of the fitness industry, okay? HealthSeekers, so the HealthSeekers movement. Before I get into the deck, I just want to tell you a quick story about a lady called Heidi who came to a centre about 3 years ago now for a health check at a site. It was a trust that we were working with, and she came along because she was run down and feeling a bit tired, and she'd seen that she could get a health check worth £30. It wasn't free. I might bang that drum a few more times. It was worth £30. She came, so she turned up because it was worth £30. She got on the Tanita machine and she found that she was 12 years older than her chronological age, metabolically. Okay? She was like, yeah, I kind of feel it. And she sat down with her coach, a very good coach who actually was already a bit of a coach before we went through the training, and she became a HealthSeekers accredited coach. And they looked at 2 or 3 of the numbers, not probably visceral body fat, but hydration and things like that. And before the coach really started to talk to her about her choices and the kind of things she was going to do, this lady Heidi said, I'm not going to exercise. And the coach, who as I say was a very good coach, said, no problem, what else? And she said, well, I'm not going to eat any differently. And the coach said, no problem, what else? And this went on for a little bit. So those of you who know a bit about coaching will know that kind of, just that what else is a very simple, very powerful question. Me saying it now sounds a bit weird. And sometimes as a coach, when you're saying that, it can feel a bit weird. But this lady eventually came up with, well, I could drink more water. Okay. I won't go through the whole thing because I don't know it, honestly, but her hydration was like off the scale, right? It was very bad. She was very dehydrated. But they probably went through the GROW model, probably set some SMART goals. You guys know all these things. And off she went with her mission to drink more water for the next month. And she came back a month later, got on the scales again, and she was 2 years younger. She sat down again with the coach, and 2 things happened. So there's 2 points to this story. The first one was, Heidi said to her coach, I don't get the headaches anymore. And the coach looked back at her notes, because she was a good coach, took some notes, and said, what headaches? She didn't talk about the headaches. And she said, I didn't like to talk about the headaches, because they were so debilitating. Okay. And then the second point, she said, And now I'm ready to be a bit more active. So that was the story of Heidi, 2 years younger by drinking more water, but now ready to start moving. Had a, if I could use the term average PT, talk to her, none of you guys, but you know that kind of average PT oh, what we need to do is get you picking up this heavy shit and putting it down again. We need to get you on that treadmill and on an incline, and this is what you need to do to feel more energized. She wouldn't have done any of that. She'd already said she didn't want to do any of that. So this is about choices and coaching and measurement. This is the health seeker movement. But that story, I'll dip back into that a couple of times on here. I want to take you through, that's brightened up a little bit, 3 parts, just to kind of set out the fact that I really think at the moment the industry is at a crossroads. I'm then going to talk about how we are shifting thinking, and then tell you a bit more about the way I see the health seekers model. But I'm really up for being questioned or challenged, or I want to give you some knowledge and some ideas, but I want to get some back from you guys as well. So please interrupt me at any point by shouting or putting your arm up or whatever. Is that okay? So just to set this out, oh, by the way, there's a download at the end. There's a QR code, don't worry. There's stuff you can get that can take you forwards. But I really see at the moment that the nation, or even the world, is at a crossroads. I mean, here in the UK, NHS just in all sorts of trouble. But Public Health England survey, and this is from a couple of years ago, 70 people wanted to be healthier. This is coming coming out of lockdown of the pandemic. Many, many people want to improve their health. But there's now, in this country anyway, 25% obese, worse in the States. And with that, and I've seen this through lots of exercise referral programs that I've worked with clubs on, it's either a secondary condition is mental health, or sometimes the first condition is mental health and then weight management is underneath that. The cost of obesity, I've not mentioned GLP-1 on this one. I'm sure I'll mention it a couple more times as we go through, but it is coming to get us, and I don't believe that GLP-1 is a massive opportunity for us. Okay? Again, I'll dip in and out of that. People want to be healthier though, on the positive side, but they want to Heidi. It wasn't about even moving. She couldn't move because of her headaches. It was about hydration, or it's about sleep. We talk a lot about rest. We talk a lot about recovery. And if you go downstairs and ask any of the stands about recovery, they'll probably sell you a Theragun. And that's a cool thing. But that's not recovery to most people. Recovery is going to bed a bit earlier. And maybe not using your phone just before. Most people don't want to work out. They don't want to sweat. And I know this is a little bit, do you know who you're talking to, Guy? Most people out there, if you want to get more members into your clubs, facilities, you need to stop using these 4 words and start thinking about what they think of when they think of a gym. Because most people don't think gyms are healthy places. They are, we know they are. But we've got to change that perception. So, the crossroads, just to kind of set the scene, show you a little bit about some of the controversy I want to tell you. I want to shift thinking, okay? I want to shift thinking from, these are our competition in the health and fitness industry. They're also taking they're taking our people, they're taking our jobs, they're taking our, I know of several PTs and instructors who are now delivering food or delivering Amazon parcels since the pandemic. They're making a bit more money. They have no real career prospects, but they can work on the hours, they can pick their shifts, they can go out and deliver burgers all day. It breaks my heart. But they're massive, and they're taking our potential customers' time and money, and they're filling them full of food. The threat though, really, the threat as I see it within the industry is the 17%. And most clubs are just fighting each other for the same 17%. So it was 16.9 in the last leisure database report, right? That's our market penetration. And in the pandemic, there was lots of talk about how are we going to get to 20, how are we going to get to 30. Everyone's going to want to be healthier after this. Everyone's going to want to get fit so that they don't get COVID next time. But our non-members still sit here. You can do the maths. I think we were talking 84%, weren't we, earlier this week? 84, 83. We've got a different percent for you in a minute. This is what I call the member merry-go-round, where we're bringing in high rocks so that we can get the people from the gym down the road. And we're just fighting for that same 17%. And that is causing more churn. I mean, it talks to my presentation tomorrow on retention a little bit. Come and see that, same time downstairs. But it's exhausting us, and we've got people leaving the industry, which also doesn't help with retention. So that's the threat. I want to be a bit more positive and go into a bit more about the growth. So the industry has grown, okay? Particularly if you start in the 60s, when it started. And over the years, we have grown up to 15%, 2010s, up to 17% now, if you add that 0.1 on. Some of the magazines have said, exponential growth. We're now at 17%. Now that, to me, is more of a plateau, if I'm honest. I don't think that's exponential. Would you agree? We've got to do something different, and that is not going after the members of that gym down the road. We've got to do something different. And I honestly believe we can get to 20%. That's UK actives. I know they're not always that popular here at the the Gym Operators Conference. But I do believe the UK active 20% by 2030. But when they brought that vision out, it was 20% of people exercising in our facilities. I don't think we can do that. But I think we can support 20% of the population from our facilities. And actually the wording has changed, not because of what I said, but we can support them. We can bring those people into our facilities like Heidi, and we can use our tech and our people to support them. So we can absolutely get to 20%. We can get beyond that, but we need to change, I think we need to change the models, and we need to be more open and talk more health than high rocks. Don't get me wrong, high rocks is fine. I know I'm kind of bad-mouthing, but all you're talking about is the elite. Let me put that a different way in terms of a perspective. So here's our 1766 perspective. And it is a battle. There wasn't a battle then. Here's your gym members. So here's the population. Here's the 17% that are currently gym members. Okay? These ones up here are doing high rocks. The ones here are, they love Les Mills. I love Les Mills as well. They're 2 doors up, if you want to find out more about Les Mills. But those are the people who turn up at your gym every day, and honestly, you could tell them to go away, or even just ignore them. They'll still be back tomorrow. That's not a retention strategy, by the way. Don't do that. Do say hello to everyone. But these are the people who are already with us. They're already in. Okay? We don't really need to do much with them. We do need to retain them. At the other end of the scale, we've got the dismissive. The people who are never, ever going to walk into a health club, gym, leisure centre. And I think a lot of those people are maybe thinking about weight loss drugs or are already on weight loss drugs. If this was America, it definitely isn't, but that would be 20% at each end. 20% are already on those meds. And I think we do need a solution as the fitness industry. We do need to say, look, we can help you, because if you're on that kind of stuff, you should be doing some strength training. You should be moving more. But it's a really, really hard sell. They inject themselves with that stuff because they've tried that same diet 5 times, it didn't work. They're never going to a gym. So we do need a solution for them, and we do need to help the NHS with that. I had my flu jab last week in Boots, and there was a guy in front of me at the pharmacy counter, and he was given 6, I don't know if it was Ozempic or something, and he said, well, what do I do with them? And the pharmacist assistant just said, well, you've been prescribed these by your GP, they will have told you what to do with them. I don't know what to do with them. I was just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do with them. But she had to get the main pharmacist guy who was going to do my flu jab, who then did, but it was a couple of minutes later, and that was fine. But it's just bananas what's going on with that. And I do apply. We do need a solution for that, but the opportunity, guys, is here. This is the 66% who I'm not trying to push up here to be a gym member. Honestly, I'm happy to meet them where they are, give them some coaching and some health advice and some education. I am trying to stop them go that way. I want to stop people going on those weight loss drugs because there are alternatives. But we need to bear in mind, these people, they want motivation. They want to change their lifestyle, like Heidi. Like I said, I didn't go through the GROW model and the SMART goals with her myself, but it probably would have been buy a big bottle, right? Something simple like that. Big bottle with some lines on the side. Talking of which, I'll keep hydrated as well. So, and a key word there, which will come up again and again, and I think I chatted to a couple of you about it before, is choices. What do they want to do? It's no good telling them what to do. They will do the things that they choose if you support them with it. Don't forget, they don't want to work out, they don't want to exercise, they don't want to be fit even necessarily. They want to be healthier and feel better. So what the health and fitness industry, because it is health and fitness, can do is deliver their needs. They need, I know they want these things, but what they need is they need coaching. So we were chatting about coaching earlier. Coaching, the brilliant example with Heidi, what else? I'm not going to do this. No problem, what else? Sounds really simple, but that's good coaching. Listening to people, two ears, one mouth, all that kind of stuff. They need support, maybe a bit of accountability, maybe a group of other people like them on something simple like WhatsApp. But most importantly, choice. I know it's on that slide twice, but what are you going to do? What do you want to do? They'll probably start off with 3 things they don't want to do. That's fine. But if you keep progressing with them, they'll come to something they do want to do. So that hopefully sets the scene a little bit for the threat, but the way the industry has gone with the plateau, but then what I believe we need to do. Are there any questions so far? Or any thoughts on that, or challenges?
Not sure I agree with the GLP-1 being a negative thing. I think it could be a very positive thing, and it could be a big opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of examples. One in Dubai last year,
Yeah.
and everybody looked incredible. You know, what's going off here? They said, well, everybody's a gym member.
Yeah.
Everybody's taking GLP-1. So these people aren't obese, so they're doing it for aesthetic.
Aesthetic, yes.
They want to look incredible.
Uh-huh.
I just wonder whether the medicine will move more people into the category that makes it an opportunity.
Yes.
I.e., I'm super overweight. The last place I'm going to go is a gym. But actually, if I take a load of weight off, then actually the gym may become more palatable.
There's absolutely an argument for that. And in fact, Alex, trying to remember his surname, who's on the HealthSeekers Stories podcast that I've done, that's the point he makes, absolutely. And I didn't challenge him enough on that. But I do agree with that, Justin. I think that there's absolutely an opportunity there. We need to have solutions for it. But I think there's a bigger opportunity, not stopping people going on it, but there are people out there thinking about it at the moment, and we could go, here's an alternative for you.
It's a collaboration with our industry, isn't it?
For sure. Yeah. I mean, ignoring it and saying this is a threat, absolutely not.
And talent form's coming soon as well.
It is.
So that makes it even more accessible.
Yes, yeah. What do I do with this? Well, if you've got some water, hydration. But basically, yeah, that's coming next year, I think, isn't it? Okay, so, sorry, any other thoughts or challenges?
I was just going to, I work with quite a few clients that are on those weight loss drugs.
Uh-huh.
And in my experience, it is an opportunity, like you say,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not about the weight. They have done every diet, they've been to every boot camp.
Yeah.
It's about the noise in their minds.
Uh-huh.
And when they have that, what we're then seeing is the retention on the gym floor. And then when they get results, that's been motivational for them.
Yes.
And they're able to move a little bit more, feel better in themselves, and then it's about that habit stacking that we would always go back to.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's like how that sets them on that journey.
Absolutely.
Has been a better retention for them to stay.
Yeah, and they'll get way better results than just take.
We've
Yeah.
now got people that are like, well, I've been on it for 6 months, I've got to where I thought I would be, and I've come off it because I understand how to control that noise.
Yes.
And I think that's a really useful tool to have if it helps somebody get to that space where they can understand why they're having those thoughts and control them. Because a lot of it is just about being conscious of the decisions that they're making and the stresses that they're feeling.
Yes.
So for me, from that aspect, it's only been a positive thing.
Yeah, and we need more stories like that as well. I think to help support the programs and the if I call them products, but more services to support people with it. And I think it's really a really good point. Sorry, what's your name? Jill. The getting people ultimately getting them off it, because it's not something that you should be on long term, as I understand it in my very layperson speak. But there are people who are getting hooked on it. If we can get them to a gym and get them doing some movement, and hopefully strength training again, because you're losing as much muscle as you are fat, then yes, you can help manage the noise as you're doing, but also help them to do the 6 months of that, get results, and then keep going with you, hopefully. So yeah, really good point. Thank you. So let me jump into HealthSeekers then, and talk about a little bit about the model and some of the stories we've got. This is another way I like to draw this. This is a 1,000 member club, let's say, just because the maths is easier like that. I always talk about a 1,000 member club. 500 of the members they're just in the gym, and then typically we've probably got another 400 who are also doing classes, and we've maybe got 100 who are doing PT, just for the sake of a model, yeah. And retention is basically pushing people at that. Because these guys, have I got a, I can use my finger. These guys will stay longer. These guys will stay almost as long. These guys are probably more at risk. But if we put, you're not going to push them all up. There's a 1,000 member club. Now what we're doing with HealthSeekers is we're basically building another base layer on the bottom of this. Okay, and saying what we want is another 1,000 subscribers who come in once a month or once a quarter, and they don't have a membership, they're just subscribing to a service. Same thing, you might argue, depending on the front of house system you use might even have subscription in there. But you don't need to join the gym. You don't get to use the treadmill or go to the classes. And most of the people out there, not most of you, but most of them don't want to do the classes or use the treadmills. But from here we can get them in once a month or once a quarter for their measurement, their bit of coaching, and then they can go off and do park run or drinking more water or walking their dog. Twice as many people have dogs as have gym memberships. I'm not saying we're in the wrong business, but if you've got a dog, you're walking it every day, rain, shine. You're also doing, if you're a responsible dog owner, you're also doing squats because you're reaching down and picking up after it. But yeah, it's good for your health, you're outdoors. So HealthSeekers is not just building there, and Chief Executive of Large Trust was like, I like this, I want to turn it around. It's a funnel. It's not necessarily a funnel. I'm happy for people to be down here paying £10 a month and then coming in once a month. They might not be getting 30 minutes of coaching for that, but that's the kind of model. Because on this we can build other verticals here. There could be, I could draw this slide again and again and again with vegetable boxes or CBD supplements or all sorts of other things, EMS workouts. And people might transition from here up this pyramid, or they might transition across and become a gym member. Particularly, well, not today, it's a lovely day out, but it gets to November, normally people want to run on treadmills more than they want to run around the park. In the summer, they might want to transition back to the other one. But the point is, we're building a new demographic base to our membership, if you want to call it a membership or call it a subscription. People paying either regularly on a monthly DD or paying for a transformation program, you would call it. I'd call it feel 5 years younger. Come in and have some coaching, 4 check-ins, regular touch points, but no Les Mills. Yeah? I did do Les Mills earlier this week. I'm with you, but most people are not, okay? Body balance, if you're asking, not pun, but anyway. This is a health check. So a health check looks something like, we do a measurement. How many of you have been on a Tanita or an InBody or a Body Tracks? No, yeah, good, okay. So socks off, on you go. 2 minutes tops, right? You've now got another 28 minutes to have that coaching conversation with a coach. And what we do is there's various education courses we've got, but it's talking people about motivational interviewing, coaching techniques, the growth model, things like that. And then crucially, when are you going to pop back in for a follow-up? You're not sure? The default is 30 days. That's our kind of standard. Come back in a month. How does that sound? Because we're coaching these people, we're not selling to them. Oh, it sounds a bit soon for the goal I've set. I think, can I come back in 60 days? Sure, no problem. Whatever you want, because whatever you talk about, you'll come back and deliver on, hopefully. When I send you a reminder in 60 days or in 50 days, then you'll come back in. So the success of these programs, and we've run a few of these at different kind of clubs now, the processes and systems, obviously sales, retention, engagement, and I'll talk about the operating system in a minute, but education is absolutely key. Staff education, so I sometimes put this in quotes, turning instructors into coaches. It's not as easy as that, and it's not just an e-learning course. It's finding the right people, but then more than looking at how coaching works, it's about practicing it, honestly. But also educating your members about the fact that you offer this, and you'd like them to bring their friends down. Rob and Julie talking about guest passes and things like that earlier. I was kind of sat on my hands going, don't ask a question, guy. They know what you're going to ask. Let's give all your members a voucher for a health check for one of their friends or family. No need to join the gym, it says on that. And all the campaigns that we've done, ex-member campaigns on a text, no need to rejoin. We are not looking for you to join the gym. And when you're talking to these people on the health check, you're not even mentioning that you've got however many bits of cardio and the best weights in the world and the best class instructors. They know that, but you're not selling that today. You're just selling their health. That said, add-ons and upsells are important. The extra pyramid that I drew, these are not free services. These are services, they're not complimentary, they're complementary. They go with the coaching. They're kind of coaching-led. But I kind of said it already. The big thing there is don't sell the gym. If a health seeker has visited you 3 or 4 times and it's getting a bit wet outside, but they have been doing a bit of running, they know you've got treadmills and they will ask you when they're ready if they can join the gym. And you can go, oh, yeah, sure. No need to sell it. So a little bit about the kind of model, or just a different way of drawing this. I often look at this, and a version of this slide is on tomorrow as well. Pushing people up the kind of cost price membership model. HealthSeekers for me sits around here, or a health check sits around here. The HealthSeeker operating system, which I'll jump into a little bit in a moment, is kind of there. And there might be a health score or an app. We're not going to get everyone to come into the site and take their socks and shoes off and get on the Tanita. So we're looking at health scores, ways of just a simple questionnaire. Oh, you're a 6 out of 10. There's various different versions of this, one of which we've developed, but there's others as well. People like you really benefit from coming in for a health check. Oh, because I scored a 6, but you scored a 5 and you got that as well. Yeah, I did. Guess what? Everyone gets that. But it's an engagement tool and a way of nurturing people to bring them in. And this, yes, progression, and the really commercial people there going, let's get more people onto the high value membership, we'll be pushing people up here. From a retention point of view, I also like the idea of regression. So someone who's going, I want to cancel my gym membership today. Do you? Well, thanks for telling me rather than just cancelling at the bank. Can I ask why? Money and time. And if I said I'm moving away as well, will that put me in that category? Money and time, okay. Yeah, hard ones to deal with. What if, for £10 a month, you could just visit once a month for a health check? And we'll keep on top of you and you'll get some coaching with that as well. Yeah. That sounds better than £30 a month. And I've got to visit 3 times a week. So the point is, it's a way of saving people as well, or putting them onto a HealthSeekers, maybe it wouldn't be called that, but a HealthSeekers subscription over the summer while they're doing park run and playing tennis. Then bring them back in the winter. They stay engaged. The HealthSeeker operating system, this is a way of taking organisations through building of a HealthSeeker model. Basically, it's the 4 of the 5 levers of growth. So lead gen, sales conversion, and then retention, and boosting average order value. But let's get more people into our system. Let's build that bottom layer. So there's more on this in the download, which I'll get to in a sec. I think it's down here. A couple of other stories for you. So this lady, this is quite a few years ago now, but she had a body scan. She had a Staiku body scan. Have you been on those? Spinning around with an Xbox looking at you. They're quite cool. You've got to wear quite form-fitting clothing though, so definitely not for everyone. But she went away having had a 3D model of her printed out, which she didn't like, and rang her coach the next day to say, I've just dropped 100 quid at Sweaty Betty and I've taken up jogging. And he was like, well, okay, fine. But this behaviour change, this measurement is a kind of key part of the start of that. David needed some advice really with this one, but he messaged his coach after Tanita, and he was like, I've become vegan, which was like, well, okay, we need to talk about that a bit more. Don't just go and do that because I don't know what your scores are going to be next month. But there's big changes people are making. I mentioned Heidi already. The short version of that is her headache stopped when she drank more water. Oh shit. And then we ran a really interesting project at Body Street. Body Street are the EMS workout kind of people, nice little labs on the high street. They all have Tanita, which is magic. I don't mind. It could be an InBody or a Body Tracks or a Seca or the other ones I've not mentioned. Other body composition devices are available. I'm not the BBC, but this guy just came in, went, okay, right, I need to do something. Oh, can I put that suit on? And can you shock me? And they're doing those 20-minute workouts, and some of his staff are doing that as well. So this is really changing people's lives. I think the important part about the stories, and Jen, your story with the GLP-1 and supporting them, we need to get those stories out too, absolutely, to say, look, we can do this. We've got products that support. But I want more stories like this in the health and fitness industry so that we are talking more health and people aren't going, go to a gym for my health. They genuinely can come to you and go, how healthy am I? Because I don't want to go and bother the GP about it, but I do want to know, and I do want to do better. So you can just, most people put a QR code up. I always kind of scratch my head a bit when there's not a link, but that's where that will take you. So you could just write that down if you want. That's going to give you the option to download this Shift to HealthSeeker playbook. Okay, and with that, there's a 30, so that's a playbook, and that's fine. And people will download that and are reading it and going, oh yeah, we need to do this. Off the back of that, there's a checklist that you can then go, right, I'm going to start my journey. I'm going to do this. If you want to share that back with me, that'd be great, because I then get more information and learning and data. But honestly, that's the kind of next thing. The other point, and Sam DeCombel from Fitness Genes has been on the HealthSeeker Stories podcast. If you want to listen to, not me, I'll just ask a couple of questions and then get out of the way, and guests talk about HealthSeeker Stories, talk about GLP-1. But that's, if you're into podcasts, apparently they're a thing. I do have another one, but I won't mention that one today. But that's almost the finish. Chatting to a couple of you beforehand. So get this, get the follow-up to that. What then happens is people will download stuff all the time and go, yeah, I must do something with that. There is another opportunity, which is something we're doing early in 2006. It won't be January, because that would be madness, but it will either be February or March. We are going to run a HealthSeeker Accelerator program for 10 sites, okay? The idea is that we work with 10 sites, and I've got 6 confirmed with 2 leisure trusts. I've got 2 more that are almost certainly nailed on, and that they're all public, they're all leisure centres, basically. But it would be interesting if you know someone who gets this and would like to be a slightly different person within that, because I don't want everyone to run exactly the same program. I want different ideas. And the idea is we're basically bringing the content together. So there'll be collateral, there'll be the program is this, it's priced like that. But if you decide that you don't want to do a health check for £30 as a headline rate because of where you are, in the centre of London, you want to charge 100, let's go. That's what that 3D body scan was that the lady had who bought her Sweaty Betty kit, believe it or not. Or if you're out in the sticks and want to say these are funded, never ever say they're free, because you will sell none. But say they're worth £30 and they're funded, or that the Feel 5 Years Younger program is priced at 90. What we want is lots of different people doing this. And we're going to get 30 people per site through a program, share the data, share the learnings with each other, really learn a lot, lots of collaboration, lots of networking, which I love doing. And that is going to take that chart from here up to here. I kind of go down a little bit on GLP-1, and I'm sorry, and thank you for challenging me on that. I really appreciate it. But I don't think GLP-1 is going to take us there. I think softening and being more healthy and being more coaching-led, whilst using data and then collaborating, is how we get up to, I'm not exactly sure what that is on the scale. I'm not putting a number on it, but it's over 20.
So that percentage there, is that active gym goers or people that participate in regular exercise by, say, an NHS standard?
Yeah.
Are we including walking clubs, are we including running clubs,
Yeah,
or is it just a gym through a door?
Yeah, really good question. Gym memberships.
Okay.
Which, so there's almost 3 questions in there. It's people who are paying for a gym membership.
Yeah, for a facility.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily, that's the other thing you can actively look at doing. It's like, well, what about pay as you go? Sometimes they're included, sometimes they're not. For all the detail, go and ask the guys at Leisure Database downstairs. They measure it in various different ways. But I'm talking about how can gyms and health clubs and leisure centres support more people. And if we say we're supporting them, they're visiting us once a month or they're on some kind of subscription with us, let's get that up beyond 20%. And this is the way to do it, I believe. Any other thoughts or questions, comments? Yeah.
We're quite a small club and we've got limited staff. In terms of the times of day that those types of people, the health seekers, would be kind of more finding the gym more accessible, is that daytime? Is it evenings? Is it a wide variety?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Because, no, because I don't. I mean, it's certainly different now. There's more people working from home. So it is more, get out of your home, get down to the gym or a coffee shop, have a break in your day. That doesn't have to be picking up massive weights and putting them down again. It's fine for some of us, but it's not for everyone. But to go out and have a break, I think you can make it more accessible, but it is probably going to be the busy times. If people are coming in for these, yeah, so people might want to do them at the weekend. People might want to do them in the evenings or early in the morning, on their way to work, on their way back from work. One of the clubs in the Accelerator program will be on a corporate. We were chatting about kind of the corporate thing, and that's really interesting to me. So is universities. Let's get people where there's a facility there, and go. We're actually going to bring the Tanita to you. We're going to do a wellbeing lunch. We're going to have a talk. We're going to have other stuff. We're going to have a hydration station. Oh, I don't know. I saw one of those downstairs. I'd rather just drink water myself, but whatever. But we're going to educate you. And while we're doing that, we've got this and we can measure you. And if you want to follow up, then let's go. But we're not doing that so that you then come and work out in the gym. We're saying it's almost separate to that. But yeah, times, sorry, that wasn't even an answer to your question. But it was a good question.
I guess where the shift is what you mentioned there, kind of twice, in terms of choice.
Yep.
That's what we're really looking for, just choice of, and it's to do more well-being and lifestyle rather than just fitness or
Yep.
just health. It's more holistic approach of lifestyle, looking at the whole thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. So and there's a little bit of that in the HealthSeeker coaching course. There's a bit of, if you really don't know, and you get this all the time, people in gyms, what's your goal? Oh, I don't know. Okay, is it lose weight? Yes, it's lose weight. Okay, but let's not just settle for lose weight. Let's kind of try and peel that back a little bit and find out why it is you want to lose weight. But the same, I mean, is it movement or is it nutrition or is it, okay, if you've picked one, we can now go down that a little bit. But
coming from my perspective and my experience of my members of what they are looking for, we recently put a mobility class.
Yep.
Been full for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So
Yeah.
it's really complementing that. Maybe because of the demographic, they're also telling me maybe a bit of nutrition too, maybe a bit of recovery, maybe. So obviously now people are more health aware
yes.
and they want the whole package rather than just.
Yeah. Or there's just a, and I see that in the leisure centre I go to, the Aqua Zumba on a Friday. It's the noisiest time in the swimming change rooms, and they're all there, and they're probably not doing a great deal, but they're all together, and you can't get a coffee afterwards. I love it. It's good. Just seeing the Parkinson's boxing class next to body balance that I do is full. It's like swells my heart. But I think there's a community and bringing people together for that as well, which is why I think bringing people to clubs and bringing people in groups for this kind of thing is also really important. Yeah. Listen, if you've got other questions, I'm not going to lead on the queue for lunch and like get in front of you all. I'll be up here for another 5 minutes. So if you want to chat about it still, please do. Or yeah, do a download, contact me for more info. Hang around and ask questions if you want, but lunch starts kind of now. So, and it's a good lunch usually here. So don't talk to me, go and get some of that. Or hang on if you want. But thank you very much for listening.